this one larger man was standing there because Loki bumped into him by accident as they were running out. This guy's like, well, I'm not going to fight you in here. I guess we're going to have to take this outside. And Loki's like, I don't have time for this. I have a variant to catch. So Loki's looking at him like, we're going to have to take this outside. And then he just like, poof, snaps him into a cage outside. Hey everyone, welcome back to Canada Cinema. I'm Amanda, otherwise known as AMXND Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Today I will be reviewing Loki Season 2, Episode 3. Now, this one I really enjoyed the beginning. I liked it. We had some old-timey music, and we're throwing it back to the Western. But I like the Marvel Studios logo. We had some really cool music, and then we open on 1868 Chicago with Renslayer. Mbatha-Raw comes in, and I am just so happy to see her. I think she's fantastic. She killed it in season 1, so I really loved seeing her. She stepped out of the time door, and she is dressed in 1860s clothes, a beautiful dress, and she is on the hunt to find Miss Minutes. It's kind of hard not to spot Miss Minutes because she's orange and she's a clock, and she goes into this barn. And she does find Miss Minutes, and Miss Minutes changes into like an old-timey clock, which is really cute too. So Miss Minutes had the idea to bring Renslayer all the way back here to give He Who Remains the TVA guidebook. Now, I found this to be really clever because obviously Miss Minutes was in cahoots with He Who Remains at the end of time. So she's thinking, if we go all the way back to a variant of He Who Remains, he can read the TVA guidebook, learn everything there is to know about it, and then rebuild and become He Who Remains again, but differently. Miss Minutes finds a very young version of He Who Remains, and Renslayer is instructed to give the guidebook to this kid. So she just slides the guidebook as a gift in his window, and they pray that he opens it and some gears start turning. Cut to present TVA. They keep saying they need to find Miss Minutes to override it. They need to find Miss Minutes to override it. They know what they have to do. They set it up a little bit. So they try to find Miss Minutes on the TemPad. And at that point in time, they could still track her. So Loki and Mobius go back to the 1800s. So instead of going back to 1868, they go to 1893. So now He Who Remains, who is now named Victor Timely, is a bit older. So they explore the fair. They have the World's Fair. They have the Ferris wheel. They have these shows. And at one of the shows, they end up finding it on a billboard saying something about the temporal loom and the marvels of this and blah, blah, blah. So everything that's written there obviously gives Loki a bit of an idea that he's going to show up at this particular location, and hopefully Renslayer and Miss Minutes are there as well. So their goal here is to find a variant of He Who Remains, or find Miss Minutes to bring back in order to override the system and all of that. So there are two things that they could do. Loki ends up finding, which I found hysterical. He found these poles of the Norse gods. So he found like Thor, and he found Odin. Loki was nowhere to be found, obviously. And there was someone else, I don't remember his name, which was standing like right beside Odin. And he's like, no one ever knows him. Why is he here? And it's funny things like that, where he's going to different times and he sees how like the Norse gods and Norse mythology kind of twisted and taken. So I thought that was really funny. We had a lot of funny moments in this one. I really liked Hiddleston in this episode. But long story short, they do go to this event and people are packed, and we do see Victor Timely. And Victor Timely is presenting his temporal loom. He's presenting it to everybody. It's on a very small scale. Obviously, he invented it, and it's not on the large scale. The bigger plan that he has, he's using his temporal loom without knowing anything about the TVA. These people don't know anything about time. They don't know anything about the multiverse, the 1800s. He's masking it as like electricity. Yay. And that's what he sells it as. I do have to say, I do not like Victor Timely. It has nothing to do with the character himself or the fact that he's like evil. He's a variant. It has nothing to do with that. It's the performance that I think was extremely poor. I don't know what choices that were made. I just did not like the performance whatsoever for Victor Timely. I just didn't think it worked for the character. I didn't like the choices made. So at this event, we have Loki and Mobius looking at Victor Timely. You have two very different perspectives here. Loki is terrified, while Mobius is like, wow, he's a swell guy. Like, this is great. No. Renslayer is across. Miss Minutes is in her bag. Loki makes eye contact with Renslayer. They're like, oh, shoot, the TVA is here. So as Victor Timely wraps up his presentation, everyone's amazed. He's in the crowd with everybody. And what happens is that people are asking to purchase his temporal loom. And he's like, well, it's not for sale. Like, you guys don't understand the power that this thing is capable of harnessing. Like, it's not good for people who don't understand how to use it. And he tries to get away. He's running out because someone made a fake deal with him. And he's just bolting because he basically lied about his invention. He runs out. Loki runs after him. Mobius runs after. Renslayer runs after. So does Miss Minutes. They're all running towards Victor Timely. There was one funny moment as they were running out. This one larger man was standing there because Loki bumped into him by accident as they were running out. This guy's like, well, I'm not going to fight you in here. I guess we're going to have to take this outside. And Loki's like, I don't have time for this. I have a variant to catch. So Loki's looking at him like, we're going to have to take this outside. And then he just like, poof, snaps him into a cage outside. And you just see like his green smoke everywhere. It was so funny. And then Mobius is like, this is magic in the 1800s. And he's like, Loki, everyone, the god of mischief. Wow, magic. Blah, blah, blah. And he runs off. And I'm like, this is hilarious. So that was fun. They did an old-fashioned chase in the West, which I enjoy too. They're playing around with different time periods more so this season, which I liked. Once they get to the Ferris wheel, Sylvie pops up. There's a variant. There's Sylvie. Oh my God. So they get on this Ferris wheel and they're all fighting for Victor Timely. So Loki's defending Timely. He's like, dude, we need you. We're going to protect you because we need your aura to fix the TVA. Like, I don't need Miss Minutes right now if I have you in the flesh. And then Renslayer's like, no, you got to give him to me because we need him for other stuff and things that are very important. And then Sylvie's like, guys are both not getting him. And she literally poofs both of the sides off the Ferris wheel. Loki obviously not affected by her enchantment. And Sylvie was about to kill Victor Timely. Here's the thing. Not all variants are the same. Not all variants are going to turn into Kang or He Who Remains. That's the thing. So when you're looking at Victor Timely, you don't really see that he could be an evil person unless he masks it extremely well. So Sylvie kind of foils the plan and they do get away. Timely runs off with Renslayer and Miss Minutes. Sylvie and Loki are just going back and forth. Like, you can't kill him. And Timely has to get to his lab. So as they're on this boat, this little rowboat, Timely and Renslayer are talking and they're getting very close. And you can see that there's this different connection here. And in the background, I kind of like this framing. It was a good decision because Miss Minutes is in the background and she's watching Renslayer and Timely have this conversation. And she knows that Renslayer and He Who Remains used to have that relationship. That's the whole point of that, what we saw in season 1. So now it's happening again. And there are certain things that were said that Miss Minutes, she started to get jealous. She's like, it's always supposed to be me. Like, I'm supposed to be the one that you're with because I do everything for you. There's like a sinister nature to Miss Minutes and the way she's like playing it. You can see her expressions as well. But at one point, Renslayer is like, yeah, like this will be a really great partnership. Cut to Renslayer laying on the rowboat, dropping from a big ferry boat that Timely and Miss Minutes are on. And Miss Minutes and Timely are like, bye-bye, you said partnership. He works by himself. You slipped up, bye. So now Miss Minutes is alone with Timely. And I'm like, you little person that did that. Wow, you shady. Shady. Just like all for himself. You just let her like row into the ocean. You don't care. Miss Minutes. You don't care. So after that, Timely does get to his lab with Miss Minutes. And Miss Minutes is like, why do you have to go to the TVA? Like, what's the rush to go to the TVA? There's no need to go there. And then she just gets really weird on him. And she's like, technology can do incredible things. Why didn't you make me like a woman, your girlfriend? Like, why didn't you ever do that? So Miss Minutes is getting like slowly like more pissed off by the second for whatever reason, and Timely doesn't have an answer for her. So as Miss Minutes is like about to pounce on Timely, which is just, it's so weird, he locks her up in a TemPad, which is also interesting. At that moment, he's like, oh, I'm scot-free, I'm in my lab. Renslayer comes out with a whole pruning device. I don't know where the hell she got it from. She's like locked and loaded, and she's telling him, you know, this is what I had to do. The TVA is crumbling without me. I kept order. It's order versus chaos. And she goes into this whole lecture on Timely, who has no idea. Realistically, he has no clue what's happening at the TVA. He doesn't know any of this. And she's just like rambling on. So they're all in this room. Sylvie's also there. Loki, Mobius, they're all there. And Loki's explaining the situation. We just need you to come into the TVA to save us. That's it. Got to save the TVA. That's the main thing. Tells Renslayer the whole situation that's happening. Sylvie knocks everyone out again. And this time, she has her blade. She's ready to kill Timely. She goes right in front of him. And he begs her not to kill him. She doesn't do it. Because she knows something could go very wrong if she does kill him. And then where are they going to go? There's no timelines. There's no branches. There's nothing. If the TVA doesn't exist, what's holding everything together? So Loki and Mobius take him to the TVA. There's just the three of them. Sylvie stays with Renslayer. So as that portal closes, the door closes, Sylvie looks at Renslayer after everything that she did. And Sylvie's like, you know what? I'm going to send you somewhere else. And then she sends Renslayer to the end of time with He Who Remains. Well, the dead. He Who Remains. So now, after what Timely did and the decision he made, he literally made an enemy out of Miss Minutes, and he made an enemy out of Renslayer, who were the only two that would have helped him get to the top again. So now Renslayer's in the end of time. She's there. She sees that He Who Remains is dead, and she's realizing that these variants and what they are and what it could mean for the universe as a whole. So I gave this episode a 3.5 out of 5. I liked it. I didn't like it as much as 4. I think that it was a bit repetitive. I didn't like one specific performance, and I think that that is what weighed the entire episode down for me. It was a choice. That's all I gotta say. It didn't make sense for the character. So yeah, I'm sitting at a 3.5 out of 5. Please let me know if you guys enjoyed this episode in the comments below. Which episode is your favorite right now? I don't know how you guys are going to feel about 4. It's a very interesting one, episode 4. So let me know in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. You can always follow me over at AMXNDA Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. And if you guys want to help me grow this wonderful channel, you can find out ways to do that in the bio below. I'll catch you guys next time. Keep watching movies.